You are listening to the Life in Alignment podcast, and this is your host and coach, Naphtali Anderson. And today's episode is called From Good to Great, the Selfless Power of Focusing on Yourself. Okay, so relax your mind and enjoy the show. All right, so a good man sacrifices for his family, for his people, for his country. A good man gives his all. A good man is selfless and all those things, right? That's what they tell us. And they are partially true. But what is also true is that a good man won't be a great man. A good man focuses on others. A great man actually focuses on himself. But before you just hit the stop button, move on, just stick with me for a little while here. All right. Like, so what if I even told you that a good man is actually selfish and a great man is selfless? Okay, so now I may have really confused you, or maybe I annoyed the hell out of you, or maybe I did a little bit of both. I don't know right now, but if you're still listening, I will explain eventually. But let's just get into this thing about a good man. What am I talking about? At least on that portion of it. All right. I spent a long time trying to be a good man. And I was actually really good at being a good man. Okay, like I always gave. I was always there for everybody, always supportive, always kind. I did talk a lot of shit and stuff like that. I mean, I was from the Bronx originally, but anyways, always kind. I put myself last. And on the outside, it looked well, looked good. A good man always does enough for everybody else, enough for everybody else to tell him how good he is. A good man is always actually worried about people's thoughts of him, even if it's just his family's. A good man actually walks around with this quiet sense of inadequacy. He doesn't quite think he's enough. And partially, that's why he's so good. He's trying to show and earn that space where he finally feels like he's enough. And I stepped out of that space. I used to be in that. I was deep into that because that's how I established all my value. But I stepped out of that space through my personal growth, through me connecting more with God, through me looking at how do other people show up so powerfully when they go through so much stuff? How do they show up so authentically? And they can just be so different from everybody else and they don't care. How did that happen? So I stepped out of that space and I found freedom. But I found recently in my life that I slid back into the good man. You know, when you go through big challenges in your life that make you question really your abilities, that make you question your worth, make you question what you stand for, you usually just end up looking outside of yourself, right? For proof that, you're still valuable, for proof that you're still worthy, for proof that maybe that you are who you think you are. And the easiest way for us to find that proof, honestly, is to try to gain the approval from others, right? But in getting that approval, you try to fit their image because that's the easiest way to do it. You just fit their image of who and what you think they think that you should be. All right. And so when they get happy, when they get, oh, you're awesome, then you try to suck all that in, that energy of, yes, I am approved. Yes, I am awesome. But the problem is that you just end up tiptoeing further and further and further away from your actual authentic self. So you're losing all your personal power and peace. And like I said, I've been doing a lot of journaling, spending a lot of time with God, reflection, and just realized that I was starting to just focus on everybody else, which was not really helping as much as I thought it was. I thought it was easier to keep the peace. I thought it was easier just to show up and just get that done and just try to keep everybody happy. But I was struggling to be fully present. It didn't matter that my intentions were good. It really didn't matter. Because to be great, I have to focus on myself. So, okay, finally, we're at the part of what the heck am I talking about being great and focusing on yourself. So when I say that, I don't mean focusing on yourself in some kind of snobby, materialistic, like it's all about me. Look at me. I'm so cool. No, I don't have time for anybody else. I have no energy for anybody else. That's not the type of focus that I'm talking about. When I talk about focusing on myself, I mean that the better that I take care of myself, the more I actually have to give to everyone else that I choose to give it to. When I focus on myself, I can make sure that I'm taking care of my health so I have the energy and strength to play with my kids. When I'm focusing on myself, I'm making sure that I'm personally growing and learning and every day testing these things that I'm learning. And just so I can see what works, then I can give that to other people so I can provide more value in their lives. Focusing on myself, I'm constantly becoming more. I'm constantly becoming better. I'm increasing my capacity. And guess who benefits from that? All the people that are in my realm, my sphere of influence. All the people that I love, all the people that I want to be there for. Everybody that I make contact with benefits from me focusing on myself and becoming a better person every day. When you focus on yourself, you get in the mentality to see what you're capable of. When you focus on others, you just try to check the boxes. There's no inner motivation to continually push yourself past your limits because you're just trying to get everybody's little pat on the back and just saying, okay, thumbs up, you're good. And so when you get that, then internally you're telling yourself now, okay, I can rest for a bit. I don't need the push anymore. When you're intrinsically driven, when you're focusing on yourself, then you get the reward, the high, you feel good, but then you also have that drive of, I wonder what else I can do. I wonder if I can get even more control of my thoughts and emotions. I wonder if I can show up with even more love and more patience and more understanding. That's the difference. This is why, even if you think about sports, the greatest sports competitors were people that honestly focused on themselves. They weren't focused necessarily on the competition. They were driving themselves way harder than the competition because they felt like they had more. So, one thing, right, I mentioned earlier, that whole thought that you're not good enough, right? Why us, when we step into that place of just being a good man, by the definition that I used in this podcast, why there's that sense of being inadequate, why there's that sense of being not good enough, it's because when you're constantly focusing on everybody else and you're taking care of everybody's needs and you're constantly putting yourself last, even if you're not even being shown up there for yourself at all, okay? If you're not showing up for yourself at all, then you're going to feel like nobody cares because you are not caring about yourself. You are not giving yourself any time, any energy, any importance, any value, any respect. So if you can't even respect yourself, if you can't even treat yourself like you're someone important, if you can't even treat yourself like you care about yourself, how are you going to feel like someone else actually cares about you? Because you're telling yourself that you're not good enough for 15 minutes of peace, for half an hour at the gym, for whatever you feel like is just fun, that's just for you. You have to give yourself that for you to even have the capacity to think or to accept that other people actually truly care about you. So when you love and you focus on yourself, you have a greater capacity for patience, for understanding, and to just being present. The more you give of yourself, all the things that you need, right? Then you can just be physically and mentally and spiritually secure and whole. And giving the highest version of yourself is actually the greatest gift that you can give to the world. It's the greatest gift that you can give to your family. It's the greatest gift that you can give to your work, to your business, to everything and anything that you touch. But you can't do that. You can't do that by trying to focus on what you think everybody else needs you to be, because you'll never be who you need yourself to be, nor who you were created to be. You can only do that and find that and live that by focusing on yourself enough to become the greatest version of you. So if you're sitting there right now and you're listening to what I'm saying and you actually relaxed your mind, like I said in the intro, and you're thinking to yourself that you're stuck on good, but you know you could be great, but you don't feel like you don't have the time, you don't feel like that's going to be accepted, and maybe you're just not really sure how great you can be, then I want you to reach out to me. You can email me. You can apply to be part of the coaching program that I have, mastering that inner chamber, because everything starts by doing the inner work. Everything starts inside. Everything starts with shifting your perspective and your beliefs so that you can step into a space with the right energy and start reconnecting with the people that you care about most, but at a higher level, with more power, with more peace, with more fulfillment, with more joy, with more purpose, so that you can show up and you can be great for these people that you love. So you can be great for you. It's a whole different world when you can look yourself in the eye, in the mirror, and appreciate, respect, and accept that person that you see. So you can email me, Tali at naphtalianderson.com. And until next time, step into your greatness and be blessed.